Hi guys, how are you doing today? Ready for new stories? I have 5 today. Let's go to the first one. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, 21 female, was doing an internship traineeship at a tech company, not really knowing what I want to be in life. I saw a college nearby doing what I wanted to major in nearby. I picked a close one because my family isn't rich and thought it would be the only one affordable without taking out loans. During my internship, I talked to many people who wanted to major in the same subject as me. However, they all wanted to go to another college further away. I looked at that college and fell in love with the program. However, I knew it couldn't be done, as it would mean I needed to go get my own place. Back at home, I spoke to my grandma on my mom's side, 65 female, and told her all about the college and how I wished I could go there. She told me not to worry and that financially it could be done. I was so excited and happy hearing I could go. My grandma called my other grandma, 75 female, talking about my dream to go there. Other grandma heard and wanted her savings to go into a college fund for me so I could go study there. I was even happier about that. It would make me able to study without any loans and enough money to party. During a family Zoom call with me, my 2 grandmas and my aunt, 40 female, and uncle, 38 male, on dad's side, we discussed my plans. My aunt and uncle told me not to go because I'd be in lots of debt and that it is crushing them at the moment. I told them I wouldn't be needing any loans. They asked me how, and I told him that grandmas were paying for all of it. Dad's side grandma told me I'd be using her savings. Then all went downhill. Apparently, her savings were supposed to be their IVF fund, since they cannot afford them after multiple failed attempts. Aunt started crying and begged me to reconsider my choices. I told her no, this is my dream college, and I am not letting that getting taken away from me. After that day, they called me selfish, saying that I could just take out loans or go to the first college and they still could get their baby. I got mad and yelled at her. I told her that even if she used the money, there was a good chance that there would be no baby, and that maybe she is too old and this is nature's way of telling her children aren't for her. Yes, the a-hole. But OP's aunt is in the least wrong here. OP's grandmother shouldn't have promised 2 people the money. And OP sounds like she only cares about her side of things and doesn't understand how hard it is for people who can't get pregnant naturally. OP's aunt is also not right for blaming OP. Honestly, at this point, those 2 should just split the money and both have to pay their own way a little. Update. Well, this went different than I expected. Everyone is talking about my comment instead of me taking the money, which I agree I am the a-hole for saying. But I want to explain why I said that. Basically, the day after the Zoom call, I get called by her. Before I could say anything, she starts yelling and screaming about what happened the day before. She started screaming how entitled people my age were. Fine by me, but after she told me how people my race, I am mixed, she is white, are ruining the country and taking all the money from the natives and very R swear words. I am in Europe. That's what made me flip like that. She also was kind of R, but I mostly ignored it up until now. Grandma told me to ignore it as well, but today was my limit. I didn't explain this situation further because I asked about taking the money. My daughter, 42 female, recently had a mental breakdown because her ex-husband of 2 years, 45 male, just announced that he and his second wife, 23 female, were expecting. So upset was she about this that she checked herself into a hospital. She is now back home, but refusing to get out of bed unless it's for therapy. She keeps crying about the fact that the last big fight she had with her ex was triggered by her miscarriage. She had finally gotten pregnant after numerous IVF cycles, but one day it all came crashing down. Her ex-husband screamed at her and said conception has been the most natural thing since the beginning of time, and that he refuses to go through so much trouble ever again. Now, after the pregnancy announcement, my daughter is not going to work, to the point where they are about to fire her. Meanwhile, she is still hemorrhaging money on therapists of all kinds. I'm attempting to comfort her, but I'm honestly rather resentful because I also really wanted to have grandchildren. I had told her in her 20s and early 30s that if she and her husband wanted to have children, which they both said they did, they should do it now, and she could then continue her career uninterrupted or even work part-time since her husband and herself could afford it. Her ex-husband agreed with me and was begging her to consider trying. However, she refused until her late 30s, which I feared because I myself was unable to conceive when I was 39. While my daughter expects me to coddle her, I'm also silently suffering at the fact I'll never have grandkids. Yesterday, I finally had enough and asked my daughter what she expected when she was trying to conceive so close to premenopause, and that I hated to compare her to others, but if she was trying at 23 to 30, I highly doubt this would have happened. She lambasted me for being the "I told you so" person and kicked me out of her room with no regard for the fact that I had also expressed my suffering. Am I an a-hole? Yes, I think OP is a huge a-hole. I don't blame her at all for waiting to have children until she felt she was ready. OP is being heartless and selfish to a woman who is already hitting rock bottom. OP is not suffering from anything. OP's daughter, on the other hand, has received some terrible news. She has a crap of a parent, on top of the fact that her ex has had another child while she struggled with infertility. OP's daughter is not some little incubator here to provide OP with grandbabies. She is a living, thinking, feeling human being. A fact OP seems to have forgotten about. I'm being told I'm the a-hole, and am starting to feel like an a-hole for her crying. But I can't help but to feel like it's not an a-hole move. I am no means wealthy. I grew up low income, started working at 15 selling newspapers door to door, used the money to have deodorant, shampoo, the essentials to not get bullied at school. All my life I've worked hard to buy things that were needed. Never have I ever been extravagant with myself. When it comes to others, I don't mind splurging on gifts for them, as their happiness brings me joy. I know what it's like to not have what you want, and it hurts me to see someone feel how I used to feel as a kid. My girlfriend and I are planning on getting married. I found my ring at a pawn shop for $600. Was a really good deal, nothing fancy, super simple small thing. It was in her budget. She has a dream ring in mind, 2-carat princess cut diamond, VS2, G color. I'm all for getting the ring of her dreams. The problem is, she's upset that I won't be willing to buy it from a specific jeweler. Her whole family has bought rings from this place. I understand the meaning behind it, and I wish I could drop $13,000 on making it happen. However, within this same year, I also have to put down payment on our second home. First one is being rented out, and also get ready for expenses of IVF. There is a huge amount of pressure and stress on making these goals happen, and I've expressed this to her. I work 2 jobs, but my second one is currently on hold because of pandemic. I found the exact diamond specs, GIA certified, for $7,500. The difference can help towards the down payment of dream home. I've been trying to explain this logic to her, but she keeps saying how we grew up differently. We truly did. Her parents were fortunate enough to have funds to give her what she desired. She had the new Mercedes in high school. I worked my butt off for a 1985 rusted Honda, which I couldn't afford until 19 due to worrying about paying rent. I don't even buy myself an $80 watch, but saved up many work bonuses to buy her a $2,000 watch and diamond earrings for Christmas. She knows how frugal I am with myself. She knows I'm willing to give her anything, but this just doesn't make sense. I'm not saying no to the ring. I'm saying no to spending that much with that jeweler. Am I the a-hole? Oh my God, poor OP. Of course he is not the a-hole. His girlfriend is a huge one. This person. Sure, OP loves her, but she will probably never know the true value of hard work. Sure, she might have a job and has a paycheck, but she'll never understand OP's way of thinking. This person was born with a silver spoon that is now way up past her mouth, and it has inserted itself into her little brain. OP even considering spending $7,000 and using the rest on a dream home is honorable. OP is thinking long term and he's got his head in the game. OP deserves a life too. Not just being a work slave every day for the rest of his life, so wife can enjoy glitter and trinkets. Well, I, 33 female, have been waiting 7 years for a baby. I've had 6 heartbreaking miscarriages and a lot of failed IVF. So when I found out I was pregnant this time around, I didn't celebrate till I was 8 months pregnant for obvious reasons. Well, me and my husband said we'd hold a baby shower with a gender reveal as a party game, but the only rule was neither of us would pop the balloons, yes, twins, till 8 p.m. If this isn't obvious, we held 2 different parties. One for each of our friends, family, gender mixed, but we would meet at my party at 10 p.m. Well, you would imagine my shock when a lot of his side, especially his mother and sister, ended up at my baby shower at first. I felt extremely happy and proud that they came. Everything was going good. Even his sister, who usually makes herself the main character, was having a good time. That was until it came to find out the gender. Look, I know people will have comments about gender reveals being cheesy, but since we have everything bought for our babies, even the names picked out, realistically, it was only a game that if you guessed right, you'd win a bottle of wine or bath set. We don't care about the gender. We both just wanted a whole pregnancy experience. Well, at 8 p.m., my sister comes in with the balloons, saying my hubby put mother-in-law in charge of them. Well, okay, let's pop these balloons already to move on to the name game. The confetti came out rainbow. My sister-in-law took center stage and basically went on a long rant about how we were trash for holding a gender reveal. Mid-speech, I told her to get out, and when mother-in-law told me she was right and it was her brother's, my husband's home, so she had a right to be there, I told her to get out too, since she probably knew she was going to do this. I can give examples in the comments. My husband's grandmother started ringing him about the situation, and his cousin aunts basically started telling them to leave. My sister-in-law was mid-panic attack, and my mother-in-law was crying when they left my house. My husband arrived about 10 minutes later, and fair play to his grandmother aunt's cousins. They told him the situation and stuck up for me like it made me cry. So my husband just said, "Duck them. We are having 2 beautiful daughters, but I'd rather change one of their names to my granny's instead of my mother's." His dad and a few members of his family left after that because they said I was a monster for what I did to sister-in-law when I know her issues, and my husband took it too far with changing the babies' names. Girls, real by the way, names were gonna be Kayla and Rose. Now they're Bella and Rose, for anyone wondering. Edit. My mother-in-law and sister-in-law wore white to my wedding and had a dance number because I'm Indian, so traditionally we don't wear white. My sister-in-law made 2 speeches that day about them, thinking me the same as them, even though she made jokes about my bad English, so after that I wanted to go low contact. So with the last few years, they have made my miscarriages an event about them. So my husband thought my mother-in-law going to my party and bringing the balloons with an expensive gift was a peace offering, if that makes sense. Also, he still had the piece of paper the doctor wrote the gender. He ordered the balloons. OP is not an a-hole. People are allowed to have different opinions about gender reveal games, but to destroy a baby shower for some sick kind of social grandstanding is absolutely foul behavior. OP is not a monster for getting excited about her babies, ever. Finding out the gender of your babies only makes it feel so much more real for you. You get to start thinking about names, imagining their lives, even if they grow up differently to what you expect. It is a huge thing for a pregnant woman, and they took that away from OP. The only monsters are OP's mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and the people sticking up for them. This is an ongoing mess that continues to haunt me. My 22 female sister Hannah, 25 female, is newly engaged to her boyfriend of many years, Ben, 25 male. Ben and Hannah are high school sweethearts. He's the only boyfriend she's ever had, so she tends to take his word as the gospel truth. But I've always been suspicious of Ben, as I tend to be of all people, to be fair. Hannah and I have very different worldviews. I had quite a few boyfriends and one girlfriend. I believe in freedom and exploring yourself and your sexuality. Hannah only knows Ben. Anyway, we had a small gathering of family round at my sister's house for a barbecue in the garden. During the barbecue, Ben got down on one knee and proposed. At first, I was super excited for them, but then I saw the ring. And I'd seen this ring before. Call it divine intervention, but I'd seen this ring a few months back on Etsy. Hannah had hinted that her and Ben were discussing tying the knot, and we discussed rings at length. I went online to search for the type of ring she said she was interested in, and happened across a very unique and pretty ring on Etsy, but it had a fake middle stone, i.e., lab-created diamond set between two tiny opal-colored stones. The band was really dainty, but kind of intertwined around a teeny rope. So as soon as I saw the ring, I recognized it. The going rule for engagement rings, as everyone knows, is that they are supposed to last forever and be at least 3 to 4 months' pay. Ben works a good-paying job, but brings in slightly less than Hannah. 4 months' wages for him would be at least 8 to 10K at an estimate. I know for a fact this particular ring is $450. I waited until the proposal was over and asked Ben and Hannah for a quiet word, but this has the opposite effect, as I was overheard by other family, so I decided to just come out with it. I told Hannah that I had seen her ring online and that it wasn't a real diamond or even expensive. I accused Ben of trying to cheap out on one of the most important gifts of her entire life. And this was a huge mistake. Hannah burst into tears and informed me that she had given Ben a maximum budget of $400 and that she didn't want a real diamond. I was completely shocked that she would request this and was pretty certain she was just covering for Ben. But she doubled down and said that she has so far lost every single piece of jewelry she's bought and that she wanted to buy something that won't be a devastating loss if she loses it. She also claimed that they both wanted a long and expensive honeymoon instead of a big wedding. By this point, Hannah was crying loudly, and I decided I best leave. I thought I was doing my sister a sisterly duty by pointing out the fake ring, and my entire family have in turn called me an a-hole. But I honestly think I was just trying to help her. Am I an a-hole? Yes, OP is an a-hole for every single bit of this. First, it doesn't matter if she's only been with this guy. That's what she wants to do with her life. OP claims her own opinion is freedom, but she doesn't think she should be free to only be with him. That's weird. It shouldn't bother OP. Second, it doesn't matter if a ring is fake. The marriage and proposal isn't. It's not OP's place to call someone out for not going along with a social guideline she believes is right. This is not OP's engagement. Again, it shouldn't matter to OP. Third, that was really rude. OP ruined their day and embarrassed them. They had no problem at all, and no one lied about what that ring was. OP is the only one who had an issue. OP should apologize and realize that this isn't about OP or her opinion. OP sounds very judgmental.